Looking at the trading week beginning August 10th, index performance is in focus as we saw new all-time highs last week in the Dow and the S&P, but not the Nasdaq or the Russell. And we saw a bunch of weak labor data. But the bigger story may be what's happening around the stock market. U.S. Treasury yields fell across the curve this past week, while gold, silver, and copper all rallied throughout the week. At the same time, the U.S. dollar fell for a second straight week in aggregate. How those trends develop next week could play a major role in whether stocks can build on recent strength or begin to lose momentum. Next week's CPI report will be one of the biggest economic releases on the calendar. Core CPI is expected to rise 0.2% month over month and 2.5% year over year. On the headline number, expectations are for 0.1% monthly increase and a 3.4% annual gain. Any meaningful surprise in either direction could move rate expectations quickly, especially with the market still trying to figure out how much room the Fed has to leave rates unchanged without inflation becoming a problem again. Looking ahead to next week, earnings slow a touch, but we still have 184 companies valued at more than $1 billion scheduled to report, including Berkshire Hathaway, Cisco, Applied Materials, Lumentum Holdings, Cerebus Systems, CoreWeave, Barrick Mining, Rocket Labs, Cardinal Health, Tapestry, and JD.com. We'll also see 3 Treasury auctions next week, totaling $125 billion. The Treasury will auction $58 billion in 3-year notes on Tuesday, followed by $42 billion in 10-year notes on Wednesday and $25 billion in 30-year bonds on Thursday. Economic data next week: Monday, UK retail sales and Australian business confidence will be released. Tuesday, Australia will announce its latest interest rate decision, while existing home sales will be released in the U.S. Wednesday, German and U.S. CPI data will be released. Thursday, the UK will release GDP, industrial production, and manufacturing production data, while the EU reports industrial production. In the US, jobless claims and PPI will be released. Then Friday, the EU will release second quarter GDP, while the US gets retail sales, along with preliminary August Michigan consumer sentiment and inflation expectations data.